What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Trucker Jim channel. I am coming to you from one of the coolest rest stops you'll ever see. We're in the final season of Trucker Jim. Doing a video every Thursday. So if you're seeing this on the first day, happy Thursday. What to expect on Thursdays? All I can tell you is a video. I plan to experiment and to try a few things. And what we're trying this week is what I call Tell Me a Story. Tell me a story. Tell me a story. It's also a fishing story, and it's also a really cool story with my dad. My dad, which I am a junior of, has been dead a little over 10 years now. He passed away in September of 2010. This story takes place sometime in the 80s. I don't know the exact date. I was no older than 10 years old, so that would have been 84. And this story is about a Santee trip.
I don't know, guys, we might need to leave.
For those of you that don't know, Santee is... We got the maintenance man over there. For those of you that don't know, Santee Cooper, Santee Lake System, Santee, South Carolina, it can go by a few names because it's a dual lake system. The Upper Lake and Lower Lake, as we call them, but they actually have real names. It's Lake Moultrie and Lake Marion. They are connected by the diversion canal. The diversion canal always had like a lot of current. And my dad and a few of his friends were always big fans. They would go down there and catch catfish. And we would always take boats, usually pontoons. Well, the previous trip, my dad, Albert Ashley, Red Sullivan were going, and I was planning on going too. I went fishing with my dad a lot. That was kind of our thing. And well, Albert had a son named Jay about my age. Red had a son named Round Man about my age. And, you know, sometimes they went fishing too. Well, Albert and Red, I guess, had a no kids trip planned. So when they came to pick my dad up, well, guess what? My little ass was left at home. Disappointed. I ain't saying I was crying, but I think my dad felt bad, and he promised me, which he didn't make me a whole lot of promises, but he said, I promise I'll take you next time. I was like, all right, cool. Something was wrong with the boat or the boat motor, and it was in the shop, or we couldn't go fishing in our boat. And the time that we had planned to go fishing, that next time came, and the boat wasn't working. And I pulled one of these on my dad. Like, you promised. Well, what we did is like, all right, we'll grab our rod and reels and all the stuff and we'll take off without a boat. So Daddy and I get to Santee, and we go to the place we normally go, the Canal Motel. There's a boat ramp, restaurant, that kind of stuff. Everything you need. One thing that's cool about there, you can clean your fish. They've got like big wooden spools turned upside down for tables and things like that, and a water hose and your catfish heads and your guts. You can just squirt them on into the canal and, well, something to eat them. You can tell this place really cares because this groundkeeper that's out here messing up my audio is doing it on a Sunday. But we meet this guy Willie, right? But Willie tells us, he said, if you want to catch some fish, I'll tell you where you need to go. And he said it in a way with complete confidence. Now here Daddy and me is, done drove 150, well, more than 150 miles now, because we're in like our third or fourth spot, and we ain't caught nothing. But Willie tells us about this spot behind the lower dam called the Cooper River. Now the lower lake, I think it's Moultrie and the top one's Marion. I get them confused. I have to look at the map. But at the bottom of the lower lake is a dam, and on the other side of a dam, a little river comes out of it called the Cooper River. And the Cooper River goes to Charleston. The Cooper River Bridge. Oh my goodness, the old Cooper River Bridge before they built that awesome new one. Anybody been over that before? If you have, leave us a little story in the comments. But Willie tells us about this spot behind the dam, and it is not easy to get to. We had to walk through a little trail in the woods to get to it, and it looked like a jungle. I mean, it was very grown up around this area. But after we come out the trail, there's like a beach area, you know, kind of rocky, sandy kind of beach. There's some rocks around, but it's fairly grown up everywhere except for the beach. And then over here is this big dam. But it's not one of those dams, not on this side anyway, where there's churning of water and everything. It's pretty calm. Now, we don't have the place quite to ourselves. It's this group of people. And I don't know if they're Guineas, but there's something. There's a group of black people that they've got a distinctive look to them. Like when I say black people, these are the definition of black. Like, people don't get a whole lot darker than these folks I'm talking about. There was men, women, there were children too, fishing with cane poles out behind the dam. And they do not like alligator gars, but I'll come back to that. But Willie was very specific on his instructions on what we needed to do. First, we needed to change our rig. Now, when we would go fish in the boat and the canal, we had these big sinkers and we made them ourselves. They looked like a pyramid, and we would get tire weights from my Uncle Sammy's tire shop and melt them down and pour them into this mold and dump out, 1 ounce, 2 ounce, 3 ounce pyramid shaped weights that we would tie at the bottom. And then the rig we did would be double hooked, and it's in heavy current. That's why we use such a heavy weight. And we'd have a lower line baited with something and a top line baited with something. And every now and then you'd catch 2 fish at the same time. But Willie was like, no, that ain't gonna work. And there's this rig, you can look it up online, called the Santee rig for fishing down there. It's got a cork on it, a funny little weight. I'd never heard of such a thing, but Daddy knew what it was, and Willie kind of gave him a refresher on that. And Willie was very specific about the distance between the cork. He was like, 4 foot, 4 foot. All right, we'll put it 4 foot. So we get there, right? And then, Willie also told us where to get, which luckily was a little ways down from that other group of people. Now, I said 10 years old. I may have been a little younger than that because I wasn't casting out my own rod and reel. And I thought I'd learned that fairly early. But my dad was casting out for me because we got our chairs set up and rod and reels, our bait, our cooler, all that good stuff. Dad baited me up and he casted it out for me, handed it to me, then he sat down to rig his up. I know it wasn't 5 seconds went by. My cork, bloop, disappeared. I was like, Daddy, I got one. He's like, well, reel him in. And that's what I did. I reeled and reeled and reeled that fish in. And the river was sort of like this. It led to a bank, and we just pulled the fish right on up and had him. I'd caught first fish. So we threw him in the cooler, and then Daddy baited me up again, cast it out there in the river. He handed it to me, sat down, and was gonna finally rig his up. A couple seconds pass, boom, cork disappears. I'm like, Daddy, I got another one. He's like, well, reel his ass in, boy. So I, reel him in, and we get the next fish, and it's awesome. We're having fun. Done caught 2 fish now. Daddy ain't even got rigged up yet. So he baits me back up, cast it back out there for a 3rd time. He sets down, rig his up. Same thing, sinker, boom, Daddy, I got one. He's like, well, get him in. And my dad loved telling this story. Like, all right, we're sitting here, I'm rigging mine up. You're not catching all the fish. So he rigged his up, and I think that from that point I threw my own out. But it was absolutely amazing. This was a honey hole of all honey holes, because it went like that all day long, catching the shit out of catfish. And all of these were what we called good eating catfish. They were about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds, about as big as my front part of my arm, but one right after another, catfish after catfish after catfish, which it was so much fun. It was awesome. But one thing that always kind of stood out to Daddy and I both, that always made it into the story, that group of Guineas or whatever they're called, they caught alligator gars 3 different times while we were there. While Daddy and I was catching all these catfish, they caught alligator gars. And if you don't know what an alligator gar is, it's pretty crazy, prehistoric fish with a bunch of little teeth. But man, they would drag them up on the beach and hit them with sticks, stab them with sticks, throw them in the fire. They did not like these alligator gars. Apparently they're bony, and I don't know, maybe they're the devil. It's a voodoo thing. I don't know. If anybody knows about why people or a group of people hate alligator gars, please let us know in the comments below. In hindsight, I know exactly what my dad's thinking at this point. I've got 150 miles to drive back home, and a buttload of fish. Fishes galore. Catfish are in every cooler, every stringer. It has rained upon us with catfish. But we're like, all right, let's count them. And we counted them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, on into the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. We get to 70, and we have 84 catfish. 84 catfish. And Daddy's like, wow, that's a good day. And I'm like, we gotta. He's like, what? We gotta get 100. And I sold him on it because that's what we did. We finished it up. We caught 16 more. I hope this wind isn't picking up on my microphone, but we caught 16 more and made it to triple digits of catfish. But everyone, thanks a lot for watching this week's video. If there's a friend of yours you think this channel may resonate with them, let them know about it. Shoot them a link. Drop a thumbs up. Drop a thumbs up. You know, I used to have a lot of you guys sending me thumbs up pictures of you and your kids and stuff that I would put at the end of the video. If you guys would like to start doing that again, my email is below. But you know, what we put our thoughts on are so important. And it's so easy to start thinking about the coronavirus and wearing masks and businesses falling apart and everything fucking sucking that. But don't go down that rabbit hole. Be disillusioned. That's what I do. Keep your mind focused on what you like, on good things. So more will come into your life. This one, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next Thursday. But until then, everyone, please be safe out there and keep on trucking.
Everybody going through a little something, something. Sing a little song with a guitar strumming. Smile on your brother, hey, the good Lord's coming. Keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on trucking.
What's up, YouTube? I know it wasn't 5 seconds went by. My cork, bloop, disappeared. I was like, Daddy, I got one. He's like, well, reel him in. And